In this lesson, I'm going to show you how I take a fitted jacket pattern that was made for me and transform it into a dramatic, elegant swing coat. Why are we making changes to this pattern? Well, the pattern that I have actually is a master pattern that fits me really, really well. And so we'll go back to the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, all right? So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a very fitted jacket pattern and modifying it so that it's longer and it has a lot more movement. So I want to start out with the back of the jacket. I want to add a pleat that is going to end up being 2.5 centimeters on either side of the jacket, okay? The other thing that I want to do is I want to bring the bottom of the jacket out here. I think this is a little narrow. So what I want to do, this would have been the original line right here, okay? What I want to do is I want to bring that line out another 10 centimeters, okay? So that's going to create a nice flare in the back of the jacket. It's going to give it a little bit more room. So here we're going to bring out, this is where I said we were going to create the yoke, okay? So right about in this area here is where we're going to separate the garment from itself, or the pattern from itself right here, to create a yoke, okay? So this is going to be a separate piece that we talked about putting this on the weft, laying it on the weft, okay? So the pattern is not going to match here and here. It's going to be different, which is going to be really cool. All right, so from this bottom part here, what I don't separate, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring this area out 5 centimeters, okay? And of course, we're going to add inlay to that so that we have seam. So we're going to bring this out 5 centimeters. We're going to bring the bottom out 10 centimeters. So we're going to create a really nice kind of like flare in the back, if you will, for this swing coat. Next, if we look at the front, okay, the front of the jacket is a very structured, as you can see. And what we want to do here, because these two patterns, this is our, what we call the forepart, okay, of the jacket right here. And this is the side body, all right? So what we're going to do is we're actually going to bring the forepart and the side body together and make them one piece, which I think is going to be really super cool, all right? The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to keep this flare, but of course we have to make the jacket longer, okay? So we have to add length to this. So when we're looking at length, we're going to establish the length in the back of the jacket first and then carry that forward to the side body and the front, okay? So of course this is going to become longer, all right? And what we're going to do is we're going to make the front of this jacket, we're not going to have this curve here, okay? I'm actually going to bring the front of this jacket out a little bit and make it a bit wider so it's not quite as fitted, it's a little bigger. And in doing so, I'm going to lighten up the lapel. It's not going to be as shaped. It's going to be a little straighter, okay? And the front of the jacket is going to be much straighter. We're not going to have a curve. It's going to come straight down and cut across, okay? Here on the side body, you can see we have a gap here. This was actually a dart when we first made the jacket, and we separated it through this dart. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this dart back into the picture. So this is going to give our swing coat a little bit more shape than what we saw in our inspiration picture. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to end this dart here, and we're going to end this dart here at the pocket, all right? Right now we have what we would call a darted pocket, all right? And I don't want that. If we're putting both pieces together, we can't really slash through and make a pocket in this fashion. So we're going to close this pocket up, and we're going to have each dart end at the top of the pocket here, okay? And that's really all we're going to change on the front of the jacket, bringing these two pieces together, all right? And then finally, our sleeves. So we talked about having tailored sleeves, okay? So this is what a tailored sleeve looks like. This is our top sleeve right here, what we call our top sleeve, okay? And this is our undersleeve. And so all we have to do to change the sleeve, since we decided to make a 3/4 length sleeve for the jacket, is just shorten these up a little bit. And that's all. That's simple as it gets. We are going to add a cuff, but we won't actually add the cuff until we go to lay the cloth. So I'm not going to incorporate the cuff into the pattern. I'll show you how to do that when we go to lay and cut it. So that is what we're starting with. And when I come back here in a second, I'm going to show you how we're going to change all these pieces and turn them into our swing coat. To create the swing coat pattern, what I basically did was I started on the back of the jacket and I copied that. Then I measured down from the center back seam at the nape to the length 106 centimeters and marked that. I then created the yoke by measuring down at the center back seam at the neckline 7.5 centimeters and squaring that across. Then, where that point breaks, I came out 5 centimeters to create my pleat. And at the bottom center back seam, I came out 10 centimeters. So what we're actually doing here is creating a lot of movement between the pleat and the extra flare at the length. So it's going to look pretty cool. Okay, and now I'll just connect the 2 points with my extremely long meter stick, right? It's very long. So we have that nice straight line. And then all that's left to do really is I'm measuring down from the length here at the side, at the center back seam, and I'm reflecting that length over here on the side seam to make sure that we're not off at all. And then I'll just extend the side seam here at the back and then square it across at the bottom at the length. And that's really all we need to do to make the changes to the back of that fitted jacket to form the swing coat. Here on the front of the jacket, what I'm doing is I'm actually reestablishing all of my balance lines. And how I went about doing this was I measured the distance between the waist and the seat and the waist and the chest on the back of the jacket. And now I'm reflecting that on the front. This is really important because we don't want our balance to be thrown off. And a lot of times when you're copying a pattern, you can have these little infractions that can make a big difference. So then I went ahead and I copied the front of the jacket and I made sure that I brought in all the details. Next, I realigned the side body with the front, and really because the two were originally connected, it was really easy to do. So really the only thing that separates the side body and the front of the jacket is a dart. And here all I'm doing is I'm just extending my balance lines across the width of the front and the side body. So now they're all one piece. Super easy, right? Nothing too hard about this at all. At all. Next, what I'm doing is I'm going to extend the front of the jacket slightly. So I'm bringing it out 2.5 centimeters at the waistline. And I'm going to extend that all the way down to the length on the front of the jacket. Now, to get the length on the front of the jacket, what I did was I measured from the seat on the back of the jacket to the back jacket length, and that's what I'm doing here, is reflecting that length. And in order to make sure that the front of the jacket has a nice straight line, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my L ruler and square that down. We're taking the curve out of the front of the jacket, and I want to make sure that I have a really nice 90-degree angle. And an L ruler is a tailor's best friend. Next, I'm measuring down from the middle of the jacket and over here at the side body seam, just to make sure that my length is correct. And I'm going to square down or extend my side seam. And what's really nice, because this is at an angle, it's going to give the front of the coat a lot more movement as well. And then here, even though you can't see it, because the jacket is just so long, I'm squaring the length across. Now that's what's all left to do, really, is to make a few minor corrections and bring in our style features. So here I'm correcting the break line because I brought my front line out by 1 centimeter, or excuse me, 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters. And I do want to make my lapel a little bit wider. So I'm going to come from the gorge out 12 centimeters instead of what I had was 9. And I'm also going to create a curve in the lapel that is not quite as dramatic as what was on my fitted jacket pattern. So this is going to have a little less lip, as they say, and just look a little more casual, but still be very tailored. Here I'm bringing the 4-part dart, or the front of the dart, the main dart, back into the pattern and making sure that its position is proper. So the relationship between the 4-part dart and the neckline is the 4-part dart comes out about 1 centimeter and then down 7 from the neckline. And then I'm squaring that down. This dart's only going to be 1.5 centimeters, so it's not a real big dart. Doesn't really need to be. We want a little bit of shape in the front of the jacket, but not a whole lot. And then I'm going to do the same here with the side body dart. I'll bring that back into the picture, and that is what's referred to as an offset dart. So one side of this dart is only 0.5 centimeter, and the other side of the dart is 1 centimeter. And of course, as we talked about, these two darts are going to stop at the top of the pocket. What's really important when you're making a pocket position with darts that end at the top of the pocket, it's really important that you extend out both the front and back of the pocket so that the dart isn't finishing right at the end. So here in a minute, you'll see me creating the pocket position, and I bring the pocket back from the side body dart 1.5 centimeters, and I bring it forward from the front dart 1.5 centimeters. And that looks very lovely. And that's what I did to make the changes to the front. Here is our finished master pattern for the front of the swing coat. So as you can see, we've added a little bit of width to the coat. We've added the length. We've added the yoke at the top and joined the two pieces together. So we've got both the front and the side body attached with some beautiful darts. And here is the back of our swing coat. So what we have here is the actual yoke in the back. We have the back of the coat with a bit more movement patterned in. We brought the bottom over 10 centimeters from the original line. And here at the top, we brought this over 5 centimeters to create our pleat. All I did with the sleeves is I took my original sleeve pattern and I just shortened it up, and we'll put cuffs on later. So that is the changes to the swing coat. In next week's lesson, I'm going to show you how to lay and cut the swing coat pattern on that beautiful plaid cloth that I introduced you to in our first lesson. I'm also going to show you how to lay and cut the lining and how to lay and cut the canvas. So we have a jam-packed week next week. In the meantime, if you've enjoyed these videos, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And if you're interested in learning more tailoring, jump on over to the American Bespoke Tailoring Academy and take a look at some of our on-demand classes. Or if you're serious about getting into it, take the personal skill assessment, and that'll tell you exactly where you need to start on the pathway to develop those skills. Both of those links are below. Also, don't forget to download our beautiful workbook to accompany this lesson. We'll see you next week.